Welcome back to Automotive, another Rat Rod episode. The one I've been waiting for because I know it's going to be a nightmare like everything else I do. And that's going to be test fitting the engine into the truck. So I believe the motor mounts are in the correct location for the 350 turbo 350 to correctly align with this guy. Nice booby. And so then really what I fall into being an issue is, from my guess, just because I've done measurements, but I can't guarantee it. Pretty sure I'm right, but I might be wrong. Bell housing is going to hit this guy. It's going to. So I'm going to have to cut it. I don't know how much I'm going to cut. If I'm going to cut the whole thing or not. I don't know. And then I think, but I'm not sure, that the transmission's also going to hit the floor right there. But maybe it won't. So, yes, the truck is sitting, I believe, on the original mounts, right? But I don't know how much different it all is. You know, the back has been sectioned a bit, but technically it's sitting on its stock mounts. So I don't know how much different the frame placement is, but, you know, this thing wasn't built with an LS originally, so we're going to run into some issues. But that's what this episode's about, is getting that sitting in this. Maybe I should do it this way. Getting that sitting in this, right? And I did put some oh shit jack stands right here in case the weight on the front decides to tip her forward, which is very possible. There's zero weight in the back, but the cab's kind of heavy. Still, the majority of the weight is going to be in front of these jack stands, so that could be an issue. If you haven't been following along, the last episode was mating the Turbo 350 to the LS, where I may or may not have cracked the transmission a bit, but whatever, you know, that's, I guess, another episode with more content later when I decide how much pain I want to go through to fix it. Now, another thing I plan on learning, so maybe I should start this differently. There are a few things I want to gain from mounting the engine right now, right? So I have somewhat of an empty canvas, right? The frame's done, and the cab is sitting where I currently want it to sit. Sorry if the lighting's weird. I have the door open so the dogs can come in. Now, back to the actual story. So I want to figure out steering column. I want to figure out if the oil pan sits too low, and I want to figure out what kind of headers I need. So that's currently what's on my mind, right? But on top of that, I'm going to, figure out how much of this I need to cut away. I'm going to figure out how much of the floorboard I need to cut away. So there are other lessons involved, and I'm sure there's going to be stuff that I didn't think of that I got to figure out, right? So I do got to figure out the steering linkages from the column to that, but I don't know if I should do that before or after the headers, depending on what headers I decide. So that's another issue, right? And this is all getting changed up, but that's may or may not be an issue with the engine, right? Because the engine should be sitting back far enough, that when I move this back for the new mounting placement, it shouldn't cause any issues. I say shouldn't because I don't know yet. So I guess that is something I'm going to learn, right? Is how far forward is the mechanical fan that attaches to the engine going to be? Because that and the pulleys are going to dictate how much back I can move this. So I think I only need to move it 2 or 3 inches, but that could be plenty to screw everything up, right? And, currently I was kind of planning on using this to mount the grill and the radiator, which is another thing I'm going to learn. Man, the more I talk through this, the more I realize I'm forgetting. So, of course, when the engine is sitting in here and I have the fan on there, I'll know how far forward I need the radiator to be. And the radiator I plan on stuffing inside of the grill, so it'll show me where I'm placing my grill as well. So the whole build is kind of waiting on this, but it's not just this. It's also waiting on the axle. However, I can move forward on all of that without worrying about stands, right? Stands can be done whenever. Worst case scenario, the first time this thing hits the road, I'm riding high and looking ridiculous, but at least she'll be on the road. So stance doesn't affect that. It just affects me in here, man. It's bugging me. I want it done. I want it done. I want her to be reasonably slammed the first time I drive it. So we'll see. I got my helpers. I got all 3 helpers. Where's Spooty? No, Bubby. Oh, my main helper's gone. But they look like they want me to get back to work so that I can go in and hang out with them tonight. So all I'm going to do is find my collisions. Unless she does drop right in, right? If that's a chance of that, then whatever, we'll go off that. But chances are I'm coming back to talk to you because I found out how much of this I need to cut away. So with that, I'm going to get to work.
Perfect.
Well, this is where I'm going to call it a night, but not call it a video. So figured I'd show you guys where I left off. Motor's sitting in there, and as I thought, I'm not even close. It's a big gapper, and it's not even close right here. Oil pan is going to sit a lot lower than I want. I think I'm going to have to find me a low profile one that's about at least 3 inches shorter. But there shouldn't be any reason I can't have one that's got more up here than just all of it here in the back. Let me open this door. All the noises. Ooh, there we go. And yeah, I'm still a ways from here. But I think that I might not have to cut this right off the bat. It will need cut. I don't know if I need to do it yet. That'll be, well, scratch that. Mount is down here. Oh yeah, transmission's gonna go right through this bitch. So yeah, tomorrow when I come out here, I will be cutting the firewall and cutting the bench. Yeah, I'm not going to talk too much on this go round because I didn't do anything besides lift her in the air, angle her in there, and start lining things up. So yeah, I'll get back to it in the morning, and you're just going to jump to me cutting shit.
Perfect.
Well, this wouldn't be a proper video if I didn't end it defeated. Probably a good way to put it, defeated. Yeah. So, probably should have noticed this earlier, but I really didn't pay attention. These are not going to work this way. I'm going to have to do a little research and figure out what I got to do there. The other thing is, since this will be moving back to accommodate mounting from here to there, I can't really move the motor forward, which we run into a firewall collision. So that's another head scratcher. Plus, you know, headers are going to be fun, ramming them down in there. But that should be possible. Trying to figure out the steering angle is going to be, maybe not too bad. I don't know, with the header right there. It's going to be interesting too. And then come in here. Hopefully this doesn't blind you. I'm not even close to lined up back here, but I'm as far forward. And in fact, I'm going to go off of, since I measured the other engine and I kind of lined up the motor mounts where they would have fallen on a small block, and I'm still this far off, right? And my measurement was from the front of the transmission bolts, so from where the transmission mounts to the firewall, right? So from there back doesn't change depending on the motor. And I measured this bolt placement to that and mounted this to the same spot. Now, yes, I am a hair off here backwards, but I'm at least an inch. Oh, yeah, at least an inch off there. So that's going to have to change one way or the other. Oh, man. Yeah, I'm just a few setbacks. We'll figure it out. It's going to be more work than I planned on. I don't know what to do motor mount wise right now. I do have room, of course, to mount the engine higher, which technically wouldn't be an issue. As you can see, that freaking oil pan sits a lot lower than I want it to. I don't know if I'm getting a really good enough angle on the camera, but yeah, I found oil pans that are about 2 inches lower. The problem is, if I were to use these motor mounts, that engine's going to drop another 2 inches. So even, 2 inches shorter of an oil pan is going to put me similar to this oil pan. Doesn't really solve the issue there. So I'm going to have to do a little head scratching. But, I mean, in here, there's really nothing stopping me from going that high with the transmission. Sorry if that light's blinding you. But I mean, I technically have the room to tunnel this through the center. It's going to make speaker boxes a little interesting. Going to make foot spacing a little interesting, but it's possible, right? I could drastically lift this motor up, and yeah, maybe that's the route I go as I lift it. Now, still got work to do anyways. I've got to replace the bearings on the front and clean up the brakes and all that, because that will stay with it. So I'm going to continue working on that, right? This isn't a full stop. It's just kind of a kick in the nuts. But it happens, right? We live and we learn. And man, after cracking the transmission casing and everything else, this job's really putting me through the ringer. But I'm not going to give up. This damn thing's going on the road one way or the other. So stick with me. As I've said before, take a ride with me in my ADHD, because that's what we're doing. And that's kind of where I'm like a little out of it right now, is because my mind's running through, you know, all the possibilities of what it is I can do, right? Do I get different motor mounts? Do I just cut the firewall? Do I just custom make new brackets and lift the motor up higher and run the tunnel through the cab? I don't know. Really, I need to measure out headroom and seats and figure out how much height I have and how high I want to sit. The thing I was really hoping was to put speaker boxes under the seats, but maybe I have to put that behind the seats. I don't know. I hate to hit this on a down note, right? What a downer. It's one way to end Father's Day, but stay tuned. You know, we'll figure out this problem. And you know what? Leave your thoughts down below. Let me know which route you would take, which route you think's easiest. Go ahead and make fun of me for breaking my transmission. That was a dumbass mistake. Should be weldable. It's not that bad of a crack. And I'm not pumping a ton of torque or power through this thing at all anyways. So I don't think that's going to be an issue. Transmission's got to come off to remove the broken bolt from whoever removed the other transmission anyways. So we'll go. We got this.